Record. So our next guest is very magical. Look, she even presents us with magic in her image. Tomorrow has committed her life to promoting conscious parenting, consciousness, loving and owning her purpose, and being ever expanding. She is contrarian to society, brushing past the edges of belief systems and challenging dogma, very much about what we've been talking about today. And she teaches Kundalini yoga. She is devoted to not just conscious parenting and consciousness, but women's health activist, rainbow maker, and conscious speaker and coach. She lives in Wisconsin with her amazing family and adorable pup, another dog lover, Sage, little bear. Unmute. There we go. Hi, Tomorrow.
Hey, Carrie, what's up?
Look at your rainbow and your energy. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
So I want to hear about your journey to conscious parenting and then where it stemmed beyond conscious parenting.
Okay. Absolutely. Are you gonna
not just about conscious parenting? It's about so much more, but it's the gateway.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna stream if that's okay.
Yep. Are you gonna pin me next to you? You're like, yep, I'm getting to it. There we go. All right. Well, that was quite an introduction, and I'm glad you like my energy. I actually created this poster and I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring this on and use that as my backdrop today. But, just diving right into the conscious parenting question, you guys, my journey has been a really crazy one. As you know, we all have our stories and we all have our the way that we were brought into this world, brought up in this world, nurtured in this world. And, mine was pretty easy and awesome as a very fantastic fantasy childhood. I had ponies and pools and just like everything you could imagine. And then I turned 13 and everything changed. And my whole world was just kind of like, I don't know, I use this analogy of like Rubik's cubed into this, I don't know. It was definitely structured differently. And I noticed growing up, like as a teenager in the 90s, in the late 80s, that there was a hypocrisy. There was a hypocrisy in my home. There's a double standard. I was really angry about that. My brother could do everything he wanted. And I was literally, this is what I felt like. I mean, if my parents were watching this, they'd probably be horrified for me to use such strong language, but I felt like a caged animal. Like I couldn't do the things he could do. And then I was like, well, why? Because I'm a girl. And then so all these other things started bubbling up in my world and they started amplifying. And I started rebelling, as I think any normal, the psychology of it, why the hell wouldn't I start rebelling, right? If you're going to keep me caged, of course I'm going to go do the thing or reach for the forbidden fruit, right? I mean, that's normal human behavior, I guess. Don't touch the forbidden fruit. And guess what? That forbidden fruit is sex. That forbidden fruit is drugs. That forbidden fruit is alcohol. That forbidden fruit is, all these things. Don't do that. And I was like, well, why? Why can't we do this? And so I just began experimenting and exploring. And I'm Sagittarian, so I'm like, I'm spontaneous, and as a biohacker, same thing. I experiment on myself and then I share information. So I actually got pregnant at 20. So I had my first child at 21. And that was I was kind of in the drug scene and, playing in that field of forbidden fruit for a couple of years. And it was fun. I have no regrets. Whatever. And I learned a lot. Right. And then I had an angel come to me and my child, and it was very different. And that springboarded me, imagine having a child when you're 20 and then 21, you're all your friends are out. Oh, I'm, at the bar. And I'm breastfeeding. That fucking sucked. And I'm just raw, you guys, like, just like, this is how I am. And I'm going to show up and be 100% authentic and real with you guys. And I started rebelling again, and I was just like, it's been an interesting road. So that child then was raised in the same household, in the same, I would say, confinement, maybe a little harsh language, but the same old habitual generational patterns of how I was raised. And then I actually got remarried, like we'll kind of leap forward in time. And then I got remarried, had 3 more children. And I saw what was happening to that older child. And I actually just got done writing about him in my book, Conscious Parenting. And the chapter is called The One Who Got Away. And so I saw what happened with him, and I took my next 3 babies and I went, and I just hugged them and pulled them in, because I knew I wasn't going to make that same mistake again. And I was going to teach them, I was going to guide them. Are you guys familiar with toward the ending of the Celestine prophecy with the woman with the young daughter, what she talks about with parenting? Do you remember that?
I forget, refresh my memory.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know verbatim, but the big picture of it is like, she's like, if you're going to bring life into this world and breathe life and expand, right? You have to take responsibility to be the one to guide that child, right? In every way, shape, or form, you are responsible until they're responsible for themselves, and on it goes, right? So she homeschools her kids. She, she's in charge of their guidance system, and everything that comes into their world, like as 0 to 5 or 0 to 7, teenagers, guiding them, creating their independence, resiliency, and on down the line to where you just lift them up and you're like, here, go be a dragonfly, right? Like, here you go. And when I read that, like a light bulb went off in my head, and I went, oh my God, like that's how I feel about my children. And these are going to be, and like in my head too, I'm like, because I had 2 relationships that were very poor, I would say, and not abundant. And then a stream of relationships on down the line that were the same. And I was like, I'm going to create some more people in this world, because I have 4 children, right? And 3 of them are boys. And then I got my girls, the youngest. And I was like, I'm going to create more abundance, more gentlemen in this world, because I think the world could use some more gentlemen. And every single woman that I come into contact with, like in my hometown, doesn't matter if I'm like out in Austin, Texas, or where I'm at, and I say that, they go, yes, thank you. Like they thank me. They come up to me and thank me. And I'm like, or they'll meet my children out in public, and they'll be like, your son was seriously the coolest kid I've ever talked to. And you guys, I kept getting feedback like that over and over. And their friends' parents would come up to me and say, what do you do? Like, what are you doing with your kids? Because like they talk to adults. They're so funny. They're so kind. They're like, we want our kids to hang out with them more. And I'm like, well, hold on a second. Do I want my kid to hang out with your kid more? Like I would, I'd be like, because my kids are like, they know, like, and I would say like, do I approve of them? And my daughter, we just went through this the other day, and I was like, would I approve of so-and-so? And she goes, hesitates, right? And I'm like, she's like, no, you wouldn't. And I'm like, would I approve of you going and staying, at her parents' home and stuff? And she was like, no. And then, the 3 before that, she was like, oh yeah, for sure. You would think they're cool. And I'm like, good, because we need to check in with that. And especially when they're teenagers, especially when they're young adults, right? Like we need to know who their friends are. But I would keep getting this like feedback, like, yes, create more gentlemen. And it was just, and it was, you guys, it was so crazy. It was like, by my own intuition, I actually didn't I didn't write journals. I didn't do anything. I just knew that because of my experience with my firstborn son, which he's still an angel, he'll always be an angel to me. We're not on speaking terms at the moment, but we're giving each other some space. And he's like if you guys are my age, which is 47, if you remember Family Ties and Alex P. Keaton, like,
oh yeah,
remember that? my older son is Alex P. Keaton, and I'm like the, like hippie, Kundalini yoga instructor mom. And so we're just taking some time apart, which is all good. And what was I saying? I can't remember. I lost my train of thought. Something about, well, Alex P. Keaton. And I was just like keeping my, keeping my younger kids close. And how I wasn't like, I didn't have an absolute, this is my intention with these kids. It was, here's what I saw. Here's what my heart is doing and leading me to this, right? To create all of this. And now I'm in creation mode with like my career. So it's like creating children and amazing humans in this world. And I'm creating birthing my coaching programs and, like all these other things, Kundalini yoga instruction. And now I get to do it with a clear intention. And I'm so excited for how much more powerful that can be, right? So like subconscious intention and now like totally conscious intention. So, and I'm birthing my book. Yeah.
So what I love that you said is that what your natural gift at was like, it just came to you, this parenting, right? It was just natural to you. You just knew what you didn't want and you focused on what you wanted. And through your parenting style and creating these beautiful gentlemen in the world, which I hear is your mission as well.
Totally.
It was just a through line to creating. I know you're an artist, right? Then you moved into artistry.
Yep. I have a master's of fine arts in ecological architecture. And so I also have a minor in black and white photography. So like all these visual arts, basically. Yep.
So you've always been a creator. You've always been creative.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here's the thing, because I teach art classes as well. And this is like one of the first things that I say, because I want to stop like limiting beliefs in people. And like, I know we hear a lot of, in our circles, we hear a lot like, don't pay attention to what your third grade, art teacher said. And it's like, well, wait a minute, like back up a little bit even more. Like we're all creative. We get to decide, we get to choose, we get to create, or we get to consume. Like there it is, right? And if you know that you're creative, and there's a lot of people that are super creative and they are just expanding, but there's other people that feel insecure about that. And it's like, wait a minute, remember, you guys, everyone is creative. Just because I practice more just means, like this is where I'm at, right? Like if you practice being creative more, if you drew every single day a picture, you could be so, like the artist way, like Cameron, right? She talks about that, like pouring out in your morning pages. Excuse me, same thing. It's like if you practice and experience it and let it come out of you and trust yourself, right? Isn't that what we're here to talk about, right?
Yes.
Your inner trust, and go, we are all creative humans. And I tell people because I used to teach welding classes, I would tell people in my classes, I'm like, I will not buy any crap if I hear you say that I don't have a creative cell in me. I'm like, no, you've been programmed out of it. You are creative, so I'm really good at like nurturing people. I keep like hugging the screen.
Well, and my belief is that we are 100% of the time creating, whether we're consciously or subconsciously creating. And we get to choose what we consciously create every moment. So and that looks different to everyone. And if you don't like where you are, you get to consciously create something and tap into it. And that's what you're saying, that you activate like the creativity, because the creativity has been a common theme as well, this creativity.
Absolutely. I mean, we create when we make a baby, we create when we make dinner, everybody's creating all the time. It's just better perspective and how you look at yourself in that creation, right?
Yeah. So I know you've been down the artist field and career, and what really has you like take ownership in different areas of your genius?
So
was it like a moment, or was it small moments over time?
it was probably like, I've always had creativity, and so my kids, when they were in, let's see, fifth, I think my daughter was in fifth grade. So when they're quite a bit younger, so they were like fifth, seventh, and like eighth grade. They were all in a program called Destination Imagination, and well, I don't know if it's online now, but it was in person at that time. And it was a theater program where kids got to design their own sets, write their own scripts, and make their own costumes. They had to, and it was competition. It was like theater competition. And I was the coach for my daughter's team, and the girls on my team, they would be like, I mean, almost rolling their eyes, but because they heard me say so many times, I wish I was in DI when I was your age. Like, I'd be like, I wanted so bad to be theatrical and to be in more creative arts, but there really wasn't that much, right? And my family is very sports in like, minded, and we were into horses and sports. And I was always doing that for approval. I was always like, okay, I was captain of the swim team. Did I really like it? I don't know. Would I've loved to been in theater or something, creative? Yeah, that's why I took, I was like in every pottery class I could take. I was in every, creative, I was in like everything just to get a taste for it. But I kept having this outside influence of like sports and then showing horses. And I mean, I don't want to sound pretentious by any means. It was a very amazing, time of my life, but it wasn't cultivating like actually what I wanted. I was people pleasing, and I was like seeking approval through that. So then, like I get to be mom of this young team, and I'm like, wait, I have so many ideas and I want to be part of that. And they would just laugh. They'd be like, oh, Heidi, you're so funny. It was really charming how they did. Cause as a coach, you can't intervene. You can't give them ideas. You can't, whatever. And they would just like give me big hugs, and they're like, oh, you're so cute.
Your energy is infectious. So how did you find your way to Kundalini?
Oh yeah. So that was basically, I was in a 7-year relationship, and it was like an absolute nightmarish roller coaster. And it was really good, and then it was so bad. It was insane. And I had a friend of mine, actually my best friend at the time, and she has such a beautiful name. Her name is Chanel, and she has a French mother, and her name is Mignon, and they're very cute. And she's very bold and almost, a little bit more European sentiment. And I was working with her, and one day I came in and I was just bawling my eyes out because I was supposed to be at work. And she's like, she looked at me and she was like, I swear to God, if I see you like this one more time, I'm not going to be able to talk to you. And I went, what? Like, it was like whack, like slapped me right across the face. And I was like, wait, what? Like, it's that bad? And she was like, yeah, like you're impossible to be around. Like one day you're so high and the next day you're a nightmare. And I was like, nobody talks to me like that. Like we're like good Midwestern, girls. We don't talk like that. And she's not from the Midwest. And I was like, oh my God. And I went home that night and I was like, I can't believe that. And so I was actually like looking, like for something that was going to expand me. And I came across a video. It was just super random. So like that kind of spurred me to like take more time to myself, right? And away from the relationship. And finally I was like, I'd rather be friends with her than in that relationship. So I was taking more time and doing some more inner work. And I came across a video online, and it was Maya Fine's Kundalini yoga for stress and detox. And it's still up on Amazon, and it's an amazing video. And I've been doing that for like, I don't know, like probably 10, 12 years. And I'd be sitting out on the rock or out in the park, and I'd be, the crazy hippie doing mantras and chanting and doing all this stuff. Cause I was like, why do people do that kind of stuff? And so I just like when Kundalini finds you. So it found me, and it has been like just an incredible vehicle for self-discovery and inner work. And like, why do I have so much light within me? It's because I do a lot of Kundalini. And one other thing, in Kundalini, you know, there's like closing down the eyes, breathing through the nose, and doing some hand mudras and whatever. And when you do that and you go further within and you keep that practice moving, you're moving energy and you're clearing energy. And I excavated, you guys, and there's still more, right? Like we always, it's a journey. And I excavated so much anger. I was holding my solar plexus, and it just, the kundalini, and I saw the rewards after doing it, and I was like, wow, I can't believe how much better I feel. And so I was just like, I'm going to reach for more of that. I want to feel that way again. I want to keep doing that. So then Maya finds, I was waiting. I told my husband, now his name is Thaddeus, and he's watching, by the way. I told him, I said, hey, I can't wait for Maya to put out a teacher training. And within a month, she put out a teacher training. That was her first one. So I was like, sign me up. And so I did that in 2021. So I have my 200 hours of Kundalini instructor. And it was a really interesting journey. We have to do 40 days of sadhana, and you don't have to, I got to do 40 days.
What is that?
So it's a morning practice. And
Okay.
yep. And so like every morning you chant for an hour. And the thing about the difference in the yoga too, I'll just explain this really quick. So most people who think about yoga, and when I say yoga, actually it's yog, Y-O-G, it's not yoga, like us Westerners call it yoga.
Okay.
It's yog, it's to yog. To yog means to create union between mind, body, spirit. So to yog, and so I had some training from the Rishikesh gurus as well. And they explained that very well. And so, shoot, where was I? I get so excited that I lose my train of thought.
The yoga, the benefits of Kundalini. Is that what I asked?
Yeah,
That's what I would like to know.
Yeah. So I'd be going to, I'd take a class at the Y, and then I would do, I'm in my pose, right? And I'm doing the warrior, and I'm doing other things. And then I would find myself, you guys, closing my eyes. And I'm like, why am I closing my eyes? Now I got to catch up and figure out where I'm at next. Now I'm in half moon. And there's a place for that, right? Like flexibility and connecting to your mat, like 100%. So when I say Kundalini, it's the mother of all yoga. Every other yoga is a drop down from Kundalini. So Kundalini is the ancient technique, and it's a quantum technology of bringing energy up your spine and then out your body. Yogi Bhajan brought it here in the 1960s, blah, blah. There's a big, long story about that. But I was in the classes closing my eyes going, when are we going deeper within, guys? Like, where are we going to go from here? Like, all I'm doing is working on my flexibility and my body. And I'm not discounting yoga, but I was looking for something deeper. And that's what I thought to yoga meant. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Kundalini. So then it found me in that respect, right? So in Kundalini yoga, we do active meditation. We do a pose like this, and you breathe through your nose, and you inhale, exhale, and you have your eyes closed, and it's active meditation. And it brings you to a trance, a place, and it is so powerful. And yes, there is another place for stretching your body and keeping your body but this like builds strength, and it builds like mind over matter, strength and endurance in your body as well. So that was kind of
you just taught me like so many things about Kundalini, how it's the mother of all yogas.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought the same thing doing yoga back in the 1990s. I got bored with it.
Yeah.
Like I wanted something deeper. So now I know it's Kundalini.
It is. Oh, I was going to say, Kundalini is kind of a loaded word. Some people have experienced Kundalini. So the way Maya teaches it, she's very Californian about it, and we have a lot of fun. I call it seriously fun. And she's been criticized in the Kundalini circuits, and there's drama in it. There's a Yogi Bhajan drama. There's all this drama. Like, I don't want any more freaking drama in my life. I like how Maya teaches because it's fun and it speaks to me. And if somebody's going to sit here and tell me that this meditation is not like, that's not how you do meditation, like, I'll decide that as a leader of my life, right? And that's, like, this is how it works for me. And when I find something that works, and then somebody else is like, well, Kundalini is this, and it's some people look at it, then, you know, sometimes I want to be thoughtful with my words, but sometimes there's an organized religious overview of what people think Kundalini is. And it looks on the outside like cult-like, or chanting Sanskrit words that you don't know what you're saying and blah, blah, blah. But we uncover that. And I teach people in my classes, and that's what Maya does. Like, she taught me what those words meant. And this is 5,000-year-old technology, quantum technology. It was kept a secret. And now it's time, after 2020, it's time for it to expand, and we get to learn this stuff and use that quantum technology. We all get to level up. We all get to raise our frequency. We all get to raise our vibe, and it doesn't matter how you get there, right?
Yeah, it's a must. It's not, should I do that or not? I mean, it's a must to live into your potential.
Exactly.
Right. So will you show us easy techniques?
Yeah. So I prepared a little like 6-minute Kundalini practice. So if that's you want to do that? Okay, cool. So actually, let's everybody in easy pose. I'm sitting in my office chair. So I'm going to sit on the edge of my chair. And we are going to do an anger release. And I was going to put music on, but then when I saw that you're doing a Facebook Live, I decided we're not going to do that because it will get banned.
Yeah, or we can stop the Facebook. Can you still do it without the music?
I mean, it's better with the music, but if people are interested in watching this, they can just do more of it, because I do it free on Facebook every Tuesday. So we'll keep it on, and we'll just go without the music, because keep it on. Because I think
we're gonna do the music.
She's taking leadership. She's like, no, screw that. Okay.
And then we can start again after the music.
Okay, perfect. Well, okay, so Carrie, now I wasn't prepared with the music, but okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It'll take me 2 seconds to get that. In the meantime.
So Peter agrees. He's familiar with Kundalini. He says it's so medicinal. Mm-hmm. And I know that Peter had brought up about quantum psychology. So you said something about quantum
he brought up quantum psychology. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Have you heard of quantum psychology, or how did you just use the word quantum?
I used it as quantum technology, as how to access that energy. So
inner energy. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I use it like as being trained, like with a Dr. Joe Dispenza work with, like, when you squeeze your perineum and you squeeze your root lock and you squeeze that up, that energy up into your pineal, like that's what's exploding into your brain. And that's the quantum tech that's inside of us. Every single cell of our body is quantum technology. And so are your eyes, and getting sunlight, the first thing in your eyes, that's quantum technology, because it sets up your circadian rhythm for the entire day. So I ask people, like in coaching programs, like, tell me the first light that you expose your eyes to during the day or in the morning. And most people are like, oh, it's this thing. It's this black scrying machine with the blue light. And I'm like, no. If it's sunlight, you're going to get a whole different cascade of hormones, actually. So my husband teaches this, and he taught this to me. And your suprachiasmatic nucleus is behind your eyes, and that's what sets up your circadian rhythm for the day. So getting sunlight in your eyes and on your skin as your first light, rather than this cortisol, building blue light, this is sending the wrong signal. So that's quantum technology. And you can expose your navel to the sunlight as well. So, all right, I'm going to stop talking, and we're going to start moving our bodies. Okay, so we're going to do 4 Kriyas. Okay, so in Kundalini, that's called a Kriya. And let's see, we're going to do our solar plexus. So this is what I did, a lot of this to excavate and get anger out of my body. Okay, so you're going to take your fists like this. This is actually a martial arts move. And I'm just going to stand up so you can see. And you're going to put your hands like one on top of the other, and you're going to pull like this, and you're going to crisscross every time. And we're going to do this for 1.5 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to put the music on. Sorry. Okay, so I'm gonna put on can you guys hear that? The louder drum beats? Hopefully you can hear that. Okay, so for a minute and a half, we're gonna go like this. Hada, hada, hada. You're gonna chant H-A-R, hada, 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 yeah, hada. Close down the eyes. You feel comfortable, and I'll let you know when a minute and a half is.
Do we keep chanting?
You keep chanting, hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
H-A-R, hada,
Hada. Hada. Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada, hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada, hada, and then pull hard, hada.
Hada.
Nope, that's
Hada.
not timer.
Hada.
Hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada, hada, hada,
Hada.
hada. So eyes are closed. Hada,
Hada.
hada, hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada, hada,
Hada.
hada. So you get into rhythm.
Hada. 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 Hada.
20 seconds.
Hada.
Hada,
Hada.
come on.
Hada.
Get that anger out. What are you angry about?
Hada.
Get it out of your body.
Hada.
Who
Hada.
do you want to hit in the face right now?
Hada.
Yeah, Peter, keep going. Yeah.
Hada.
Hada,
Hada.
hada,
Hada.
hada, hada.
Hada.
Okay, come back, and just take a breath. Keep the eyes closed. Inhale and exhale through the mouth. Just let it go. Feel the body's nervous system relax. And then we're going to do breath of fire with crisscross hands. So breath of fire, I'm going to stand up again so you can watch my belly. So it goes. So I'm exhaling really fast just through my nose, and your body is so brilliant. And talk about quantum technology, it will automatically just inhale. Okay, so
Yeah.
it goes like this. Okay, so everybody's practicing that. So it's called breath of fire. All right, so we're going to add the arms. So we're going to crisscross the arms each time like this. Only we're going to do it above your head so it looks. And we're going to pair it with breath of fire. So I'm going to put the timer on, turn the drum beat up a little, and just crisscrossing in front of your like above your head. It's like this. So Carrie, not like this,
Okay.
above the head, and just crisscrossing. You're going too far, Carrie. This little. There you go, Peter. There. Eyes are closed. Now that you got it, this is a heart opener. So the anger release was to excavate and get that anger out of the solar plexus. This is to activate the heart. So keep breathing, 45 seconds left. Keep going. Smile on the heart, smile on the face. $30 seconds, keep going. Keep the breath going, 15 seconds. If your arms are getting tired, keep going. Mind over matter. This is breakthrough. I've done this for 3 minutes. Smile through it. Okay, inhale, hands in prayer above the head. Inhale, hold, and then drop them down through the center line into prayer. And let's regain our equanimity for a moment. And in my classes, I would allow more time for meditation in between. So we do the yang movement, and then you come back in and you do the yin, right? So you don't do the yin, sorry, you let the yin happen, where you allow your body, like, what's the sensation feeling in your body, and what is the divine sharing with you in this moment? And how still can you be? So we can put our body in easy pose and rest our hands on our knees, and then you can put your finger and your thumb in Gyan Mudra. So it looks like this. So it's meditation, right? And you're allowing the body to settle in between the kriyas. So because of time situation, we will keep moving. So I still have two more things I want to do with you guys. So I'm going to change the music and we're going to do, it's called, no, not that one. It's called Lion's Claws. Okay, so this one, you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna like make a lion's claw and you're gonna bring them down to like to your sides. And then we're actually gonna be breathing through the mouth during this one. So you're gonna go. And we're here for 1.5 minutes. Okay, so I put the clock on and the eyes are closed. We're fortifying our aura, we're protecting our energy field. Listening to the Sanskrit words of empowerment. Eyes are closed. Keep your lion's claws, right? This is all bringing energy up to your crown chakra. Keep it going, 45 seconds left. Inhale up, exhale down. "35 seconds. Smile on the heart, smile on the face. Your arms are getting tired, just go with it. Focus on protection, focus on fortifying your crown. What does your crown look like? What color is it? Inhale, exhale. 10 seconds. You guys got this. Here we go. Smile on the face. You guys are going to feel so good after this. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hands in prayer above. Hold. And bring it through the middle line. Back down into easy pose, hands in Gyan Mudra. Let the body settle. Eyes are closed. We're breathing calmly in and out through the nostrils. Feeling your cells being shaken up, breaking out of old patterns. Recalibrating our body. Okay. And then finally, we're going to move into a meditation pose. And this one I did actually just for you, Carrie, because it's called the Meditation of Abundance. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your hands and you're going to make a cup and you're going to put them in front of you, whatever your cup looks like. If you want to do this is kind of a lotus hand position. You can put your hands in a cup like this, but your arms are down by your sides and you're relaxed, okay? And you're receiving. So this is the receiving, the yin. All right. So everybody holding your cup. We're going to take a few deep breaths from the abdomen. Just letting the body settle in. Listening to the pretty music. The song is about light. Your eyes are closed. And if you want to actually take it up another level, you can just barely open your eyes, like 1/10, and you can try to look at the tip of your nose. Okay, so it's like just really barely peeking and trying to get the tip of your nose. So what you're doing is you're activating your optic nerve, and it's a way to develop your intuition. So you're also accessing inner peace and joy. So that's just like another pressure point in your quantum technology that you get to access. So I want you to imagine your hands are open for all the blessings falling into your hands from heaven. Your health, your blessing of health, your blessing of your wealth, your happiness, your joy. Imagine them pouring into your hands, and overflowing in abundance. You can add in any type of light, whether it's golden light, and imagine it being poured into your hands and overflowing. And breathing at the same time. We're trusting, because when we trust, we receive. So breathe in from the belly, trusting your intuition a little bit more today. Breathing in, being thankful for all the blessings that Carrie has shared with us today. Being thankful for all the abundance in our lives, being aware of the abundance. Abundance doesn't always mean money and wealth. Everyone is abundant in many ways. So let's shine some light on that abundance in every way of our life. You are abundance, you are light, you are love. Feel it pouring into your hands. Your hands might be getting warm. You might find a smile creeping across your face. You just get to be in this moment together. Open hearts, open hands, sharing these magical moments. And let's bring our hands together in prayer in front of our heart. Inhale together and exhale, Sat Nam. Truth is my name. Namaste. All right. So maybe 6 minutes turned into 15. That always happens in Kundalini.
Wow. That was amazing.
Good.
I love, for me, what I experienced was, holding the hands actually felt like it getting like heavier and heavier.
Oh, nice.
Like, the weight of what I was receiving. So when you said yes, and then the first one, I felt a lot of like tingling around my hips.
Oh, interesting.
Like
with the anger.
Like, was that the anger one? I forget.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was anger release.
So actually, because I know, is that where we hold our anger, or just we hold our anger in different places?
You can hold it anywhere, right? Like that's
Okay.
So if that was speaking to you, there's something there, right? So moving your hips, I think you're being called to move your hips. Maybe
Yeah, the connector, right? And also like the solar plexus.
Solar plexus is a big one for holding anger. That's where the anger center is. And it was so interesting when I would go to a Reiki specialist or anybody, in the magical energy arts, they would always be like, whoa, you got some work to do. And the solar plexus, and that's your power center, right? And anger and family and stuff like that. And I'm like, every single one would say the same thing. And I'm like, oh, I know.
So this is
how do I do it?
Anger release. Well, yeah, I mean, our and humanity, like, relationship with anger is so misunderstood, right? And we have so much repressed anger. Well, so I love this tool.
Right. So, and that's what I was saying. Like, okay, well, they're like, you need to work on your solar plexus. And I'm like, okay, you helped me with it, but now what? So when I found Kundalini, and I was like, oh, this is great, because you're literally just like energetically, guys, ripping it out of your body. And what a lot of people don't understand too, this is a Dr. John Gray teaching, is that anger is associated with estrogen. A lot of times people think, oh, it's testosterone and it's blah, blah. It's not, it's estrogen. So women can hold a lot of anger and a resentment. We're told to push it down and blah, blah. And men, when they're not able to create space for them to go and relax and be calm away from a woman, and this is what Dr. Gray teaches, like you have to literally physically be away from your woman or a woman and go retreat. That's why like men go to their cave. That's like our modern, way of doing that. But you have to do something relaxing. So what my husband does is he goes and chops wood or shoots his bow and arrow in the backyard, and he has to retreat, and you are actually rebuilding your testosterone. So then you can come back to your family and to your wife with calmness. Because if men are too high in their estrogen, that's when things go sideways.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Okay. So then the other exercise over the head was like, I got so much tingling on the back of my head and like the
Oh.
ears.
Cool.
So I don't know what that's about. What?
I mean, that's exciting. So what's the divine sharing with you? Like I would investigate that. And I mean, and that's what this practice is really about, is like, this is your intuitive, like you get to go now and go into meditation and go, what was that? What's the divine sharing with me? And only the answers, right? Like that's.
Yeah, well, it has a lot to do with the throat chakra, right? Like this whole area knows. And then also like throat chakra is behind too. So
that's
yeah,
huge.
so we can clear it this way, but this is the same center, right?
Yep.
And then oh, the optic nerve, that was really interesting. So share, like whoever's watching, share what your takeaway or what you felt. The optic nerve. So I didn't know that when we have in meditation, a lot of the time I'll have my eyes closed, but then they'll open. Like I'm like, wait, I told myself to close my eyes.
Yeah.
But they open like you were telling us to do. So now I'm knowing that it's actually a sign tapping into intuition.
Yeah, it very well could be. And there's a lot. You could, like, when your eyes are closed too, you can pull your eyes up and look at I call it your first eye.
Yeah.
And so you can look at your first eye as well, or you can look down at your nose. And it's called the nose one. It's called Nastica Jersti. So it's a Jersti. It's like where you're focusing on, and it's like that pressure, and it's putting pressure on the pineal and pituitary to basically, like, the little hairs on your pineal gland is like what we're chasing and what we're after, and getting that pineal activated is what that cascade is about.
Which are all amazing tools to tap into creativity.
Totally.
So I know you're into this biohacking, and you and your husband. Tell me more about biohacking and how it is very beneficial for entrepreneurs.
Yeah. So, okay, back when I was talking about the light and the sunlight coming into your eyes, right? That is kind of like, so my husband did a TED talk, and his name is Thaddeus Owen, and you can Google Thaddeus Owen TEDx. So what he uncovered too is, like, we have our light situation all backwards, and we have so much toxicity in our light environment, and we're constantly bombarded with EMF in our environment as well. So taking a look at living, like, we live in town, and how do we live in a modern society, right? And replicate that of something closer to nature, because the advent of artificial light, like back in the late 1800s or early turn of the century, we electrified our planet. And with that, there's actually a direct corollary between chronic disease. And so when we're now putting light into our eyes that is different than what nature is providing, we're screwing up that circadian rhythm. Okay. And so what the biohacking is like taking a look at that environment. So we were just walking by our house last night with our dog, and all the lights in our house are red. And my husband said to me, he goes, no one would actually want to break into our house because it looks so creepy. It's like,
Why are they red?
Come over here for a second.
Okay.
I'm just going to introduce you to my husband really quick. We'll get Thaddeus in here, but let me turn the background off. I just want to say, so this is Thaddeus, guys. So he's on.
Thaddeus.
Yeah. So he did the TEDx talk, and I'll let you answer that question. Actually, why do we have red lights?
Yep. So our body reads the color blue, and if your eyes see blue light when they're not supposed to, it causes a chain reaction within your body to destroy melatonin. Melatonin cleans up our damaged mitochondria, our damaged cells, potentially carcinogenic cells. So if we lose all that melatonin by seeing blue light at night when we're not supposed to see it, we lose all the benefit that we would get during sleep of cleaning up those cells. So we're only supposed to see blue during the day when the sun is out. So we want to eliminate blue light at night. So you can wear blue light blocking glasses or use red lights at night, which do not change the melatonin in your body. So the blue light increases cortisol because you want to be alert and awake during the day. But at night, that increases stress and it can create weight gain. It can create a whole bunch of chaos in the body. So never designed as humans to see blue light after dark.
So also, you guys, when like at night in our bed chamber, we have a little red light night light because we don't want to be turning on any lights, after sunset. And especially I like to read, so we can still have an access, our modern conveniences, but not destroy our melatonin, because there's also this thing where if you look at a blue light, you can destroy hours of melatonin that's supposed to be cleaning up all those, all the things that he said, cleaning up your old cells and the things your body no longer needs throughout the entire night. So it's actually really important. And especially with women, I'm finding out too, with women, I've had a couple of people reach out to me. Bye, babe. It's our anniversary too, so we're gonna
happy anniversary.
Thanks. 2 years. So a lot of women that are menopausal are having some issues. They're like, I eat clean, I do this, I exercise, I'm still gaining weight. What is happening? Well, I mean, this is what's happening, right? It's exposing that light. So the biohacking, you guys, is like really biohacking the environment around you, because I make this little analogy and I call it cleaning up your fishbowl. You can't fix your little flipper if your whole fishbowl, right, is dirty. It's like you have to clean up all that junk and EMF from your Wi-Fi router. You should see the cell phone. If I took our little Acousticom microwave reader and put it next to my phone, I never put my phone up to my head. I only use speakerphone. When we're like hard connected, we don't have Wi-Fi in our house. So those are like all the biohacks, but I still get to use the technology of, modern day. So
thank you for sharing that. It's mind blowing. Yeah. Also, what are the effects of being like on the computer for long extended hours, like 8, 10, 12-hour days that some entrepreneurs are?
It's not good. I mean, Thaddeus and I are outside people. And I mean, so you guys set an alarm on your phone every 40 minutes or every 20 minutes, whatever feels right to you. Some people are like, set it for every hour, or, whatever is manageable for you, but start small and set a timer and go, okay, I'm going to get up from all this tech and I'm going to go outside and I'm going to put on a 5-minute meditation and just let the sun come into my eyes. And it actually recalibrates your circadian rhythm, because the sun is the thing that is setting your body and your hormones to cascade at the right times, not the blue screens. So it's actually doing a lot of damage. There's a study of 2 mice, and there's 2 control groups and 2 sets of mice. They gave them, you guys, exactly the same food, like exactly the same movement, exactly the same everything. The only thing they did to the one group of mice is expose them to blue light at night, and they were morbidly obese. They became obese. I mean, it's unbelievable, the effects that, I mean, it's crazy. Peter is asking a question. I want to make sure I get, are there more? Okay. Let's see, any questions? Okay. Do we have any grounding technology inside the home? Oh yeah, for sure. So we use moon and earth grounding mats. I'm actually standing on one, and this is their cute little logo. And so I use these guys. They're super affordable. And what I found, so you plug this into just the grounding outlet. So I keep this under my desk. So all day long, it's as if I'm standing outside on the earth. So I'm completely grounded all day. And we also have one of these on our bed, but that's from the Earthing Company. And so at night, we're completely grounded under, but you have to use like a cotton or silk sheets, make sure it's a natural fiber over the top of that one. And you can watch the Earthing movie. That's a really, really good documentary.
What is the movie?
It's the Earthing movie.
Earthing. Okay. And where do you get those mats, or what are they called?
So you can go to, we have a link for so you can get a discount for the Earth and Moon. Is that, I can set you up with that, Carrie, if you want.
Yeah, you could just send it and I'll send it to everyone that's signed up for the event.
But the earthing ones, they're both the highest quality that we have found. And the earthing ones, we don't have an affiliate with them, but we love their bed sheet cover. I actually gave one to my parents. I'm like, because my dad is starting to get stiff and whatever. I'm like, you need the grounding. Watch the movie first so you understand the technology. In ancient peoples, if this one little, they make an example, one little girl had like, I think it was like some effects of polio or something within the natives. They dug a hole in the earth and they put her in the ground, not like suffocating or anything, but they put her body in the ground. And after a few days, like she started healing just from the, the Schumann resonance and the earth vibration. So there's a lot to grounding. So getting out early in the morning, watching the sunrise and watching the sun come into your eyes. I'm not telling you to watch the sun, look at the sun. We do that practice, but there's no UV light in the sunrise morning light. And getting your bare feet on the ground are like the biggest health biohacks out there. And they're totally free and they're accessible to everyone.
Thank you. I mean, those are easy, quick tools to use. And wow, there's so much damage in our modern society.
Well, and the EMF is actually one of them. Thaddeus just handed me. So this is an Acousticom. It's an EMF meter.
Okay.
And look we're green. Like this is our home. So when I say I'm in a green home, like this is what I mean by green. So you can see it's really, really, really low. And if I had my Wi-Fi, if I turn my Wi-Fi on, just on my phone, or I'll take airplane off my phone and it'll start connecting. Look at where it went.
Oh my gosh.
And over like 1.0 is dangerous. It's at 6 and it's holding. And that's where all these devices are. It's like basically sticking your head in a microwave. I never, ever put this up to my head. After 6 minutes in a mannequin, it increases the water. This is how they do the study. It increases the water by 1 degree after 6 minutes. Imagine what that's doing to your brain, and it breaks the blood-brain barrier. Mm-hmm. That's how they get medicine to people's brains, is through Wi-Fi. So imagine what that's doing. So there's ways to get around that. And living with Thaddeus, it's been an interesting 4 years of my life. But what's really interesting is that a lot of women around me that are in this like pre-menopausal area, and I very well could be menopausal. I don't have any issues with menopause. I don't have any perimenopause. I don't have any of those symptoms at all. And I'm like almost, reversing aging. And so a lot of these things, like that's what we're doing, right? Is like, I'm going to live. Here's my intention and my mantra. When I'm 80 years old, I will be climbing the mineral mountains in Peru. I am not going to be in a wheelchair. Like there's none of that. Like Peter's like, yeah, me too. Like
yes.
F what happens in society with all the, industrial, pharmaceutical, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, thank you. That's not working. It's not a pathway. And what I'm about is health freedom. And I have my own health in my own hands. And this is how I do it.
Yes.
So
thank you so much. I mean, what power. We cannot fulfill our vision and our mission without our health. And that's exactly
totally
why I wanted to, bring you on the show and have the information out there. And it's just the tip of the iceberg. So your YouTube channel with Thaddeus, I put in the link or in the comments. I believe it's the correct one. If you have any other links,
yep, I will throw
drop them. And yeah, just thank you from the bottom of my heart. I know that people come into our lives, and when the student is ready, the teacher arrives, or is it the other way around?
When the student's ready, the teacher will arrive.
Yes.
I know. I love how we met too. Like I just jumped on a plane with my husband, went to San Diego, and I didn't meet anyone else there really that I connected with, but Carrie and you guys. It was so worth it. I tell people in our leadership training, I'm like, I love that I got Carrie out of it.
Yeah, it's true. We spend these days, like a day here on this event, or we go to other events or we do all these things. And it's like, if you can just take away one thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's life changing. If you can just make one decision today, it's going to change the trajectory of your life.
Totally. And
Yeah.
one thing that Thaddeus and I committed to each other, like from our marriage, and since it's our anniversary, I'll share this with you guys. We are absolutely committed, and we were talking about rigor and being disciplined. We are absolutely committed to never missing another sunrise for the rest of our life. Like, that's it. Like, it's simple, you know, like it's sunlight, and it's that important to our whole existence. That's that piece that we're missing, and it's so easy. So,
Wow, if that's not a vision and a mission, I don't know what is.
so